try to take jiu-jitsu to the next level. We had the best showing I think my school's ever had in competition. We had 11 gold medals from the PANS, the kids PANS, which is like the world championship for kids. We had 11 gold medals. We had 9 silvers and 8 bronzes of 45 competitors that I personally took from my own school. And we had a great showing, and it's so awesome to watch this, because like I said, this is like the world championship for kids. If you think, 11 gold medals, and let's say we had a world championship team and we brought 11 gold medals from that, this is like, unheard of. It's amazing for the school, and it's amazing for the level of talent that we have inside my gym with the future of jiu-jitsu.
It's hard to build a kids program and a successful one, and I see that your kids have your attitude in many ways. Like I love that, because that's a Vagner Rocha martial arts kid. The second he steps on the mat, the second he says hi, their personality, like I've always felt that jiu-jitsu for kids is amazing, but it's always, I hear from a lot of gym owners that it's hard. It's way harder than building an adult program. What have been the challenges, and like, what are your takes on that? Has it been hard for you?
I honestly don't feel like it was hard, because I did it. I don't know if I can say I did it by accident, or I did it by will of wanting to make sure that my own personal children, my daughter Jasmine and Achilles, they had a great place for them to train. And I was inspired on watching, the future of the sport and going, what, this is how I train. This is what I think people should train like. And this is how I think kids classes should be ran like, And I always did that with my children, with not just my personal children, but I did it with all the children in my school. And I always told parents that, I tell parents at my school all the time that jiu-jitsu isn't a sport. Jiu-jitsu is not a sport. Jiu-jitsu, I'm going to say it again, so for you adults and people who don't understand, jiu-jitsu is not a sport. Jiu-jitsu is a life skill.
Yeah.
You need to know how to defend yourself. You don't need to know you don't need to be a world champion. You don't need to be a competitor. You don't need to be the best in the gym, but you need to defend yourself. If you are the worst kid or worst adult in your school, but you've been doing jiu-jitsu long enough, you are better than 99% of every human being who doesn't do jiu-jitsu.
It's true.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. If you're the worst in your school, but you're the best outside of the people in the world, the regular world, then you're good, And I always put that in my kids' mind. I was like, hey, my 2 children, for example, I said this weekend to them. I was like, hey, you guys are lucky you had me, because, and I don't mean this in any other way, except for I never gave them an option. I said, listen, you got to go to jiu-jitsu, just like you got to go to school. Did I like going to school? No, I didn't enjoy going to school. I didn't want to go to school. If my parents said, hey, you could stay home and not go to school and play video games all day, guess what I would have done? I would have stayed home and played video games all day. Yeah, everybody would have, right? maybe not everybody. There's some kids out there that are just special, and they want to go to school. They enjoy learning, to each his own, right? But of course,
and jiu-jitsu is a school, Wagner. The amount of learning involved in
it's a martial arts school. That's exactly right. It's a skill that you need to know. If every human being had that in their mind, that they need to have this skill set in their life, that it not only will make you a better person, it'll give you, confidence. It'll give you, the ability to speak up for yourself. You have the ability to stand up for yourself. You have the ability to. Everybody should know how to defend themselves. It's very simple. So. Every time a parent starts coming at me with, oh man, my kid's kind of wanting to quit, and they, they're feeling this way, and I always look at the parent. I'm like, hey, who's in charge in your house? Who pays your bills?
Yeah.
Who pays the bills? Yeah. You do, right? Who's in charge? You are, right? Okay, cool. So now you tell your child that they have no option, that they need to train, and that this is going to make them better, just like going to school. They need to go to school to learn things. You need to learn history. You need to learn math. You need to learn, history to prevent things from happening again. Math so that you can have skill sets to make money. You need to do these things because it's what it is. Life is important to do this. When you start to see it that way, and you start to put that kind of pressure on your children, like, hey, there's no choice in this. You don't have to be good. Go there. Do your best. If you get through it, great. If you don't, just keep coming back. And I had this motto in my kids' minds, And eventually they fell in love with it. Eventually they were like, you know what? I've been doing this for so long. And they both sucked for a very long time.
I remember Achilles at first telling me, like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
and now he's a monster.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And he loves it.
He does. And he's growing into his own man now. You know, and
so it works. It's not like you're going to harm your kids.
How can you be harming them if you're just providing them with something that is an important tool that they need? Problem is some parents have no control over their children.
No control.
And they don't impose that on them. They don't go, hey, you have to do this. This is important. And then if the kid goes, why? They don't have the ability to explain why it's important. One, because they don't do the jiu-jitsu themselves. So how can they tell their kid what it is, you know?
True.
So to me, again, you know, I grew up kind of old fashioned. My parents say, hey, you got to do what you got to do. And this is what you got to do, you know? And I learned to take that and kind of harness it the right way and explain to them like, hey guys, this is why you're doing this. You need to know how to do this. Somebody, you know, attacks you, you got to know how to defend yourself. Somebody tries to kidnap you, you got to know how to fight back and scream. You know, you got to have some sort of skills. And again, you don't have to be a competitor. You don't have to be a world champion. You don't have to be the best in the world, but you have to do this, you know. And in turn, I feel like my kids personally, my son, my daughter, and even the kids at my gym, you know, it shows that the parents are listening and that they're doing what they need to do, and the kids are getting better, and that energy is instilled in the room for everybody, you know.
You guys have been doing obviously jiu-jitsu way longer than I have, but I have felt this, how jiu-jitsu has impacted my personality. Has it had the same impact on you? Would you be the same person, not only knowing how to defend yourself, but has it changed the core of who you are?
I think it improves a lot of the confidence as well. The confidence, like when you do jiu-jitsu, you're not a normal person, you know, you're a lot more confident for anything in life.
I agree. I could never say that I'm the same guy I was even yesterday, you know. I'm trying to get better every day. So, and that's not just in jiu-jitsu, it's just in life in general. But I think jiu-jitsu is the biggest impact on everything in my life. It's the biggest number one thing that I can relate back and point at and say, okay, that was the
defining factor.
That is one of the reasons that's my life is in the direction it is, you know.